Ashe, Ashe and Grand Rising once again to you all my very beautiful people. My highly enriched melanin people, yes, you the Earth's original and organic humans, aka my fellow Africans. It is I, the Mystic Philosopher, and yes, it is evident that I'm here with you another time on this side of reality. And welcome back, or some would say welcome forward to the Mystic P. Is talking again, aka on the 15 minutes with I, the Mystic Philosopher, and this is episode 54. Now, the main topic of this series of talks, as you already know, is stress on the mind, or more correctly, the impact that this thing that we call stress has on the thing that we humans call mind. And that from I, the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, the solution to this problem, to this disease called stress, can or it may be found in and by understanding and overstanding the want equation. And what is the want equation? It says want is equal to money, which is equal to stress, which is equal to unhappiness. And also by putting into practice the knowledge that can be gained from this profound equation. And the quote that I've been using, and the quote I'm using is taken from the Adamic Race History and Holy Book. I'm using it to illustrate, of course, my points. And it is from the Psalm 23rd and the very first verse, verse 1, which states that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Okay. Now, in some of my previous episodes on this, the Mystic Peace talking again, I think that I have told you a lot about the thing called word. And by extension, I think that I've told you a lot about these things called words, language, and languages. However, there is something, there's a point that is very important. In fact, it's crucially important that I think that I did not explicitly told you. And my reason for not explicitly telling you then, but I will tell you now, is because I thought that you would have derived that knowledge, that understanding, and that overstanding from all that I've said to you, all that I've told you so far. I think that you would have derived this for yourself from it. And it is that words are things, but that they are not the things that they represent. Please let me repeat what I want to tell you. It's that words are things, but they are not the things that they represent. And if that is still not clear at all to, or rather clear to you all, and you would like more clarity, please let me know. Again, words are things, but they are not the things that they represent. Now, in this episode 54, and those that may follow, I will continue to evaluate and share with you some more of my perspectives and insights on the thing called want, along with the English word want that is used to represent it, and all of its synonyms in the English language, or any other language or culture I might add, for that matter. In other words, from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, it does not matter what word, sound, sign, or symbol in any other language or culture that is used to represent the thing, the phenomenon, if you will, that we call want. The fact is that this thing is not good for us. Okay. I will continue to evaluate and share with you some more of my perspectives and insights on the want equation, and hopefully give you or show you some practical examples that you may identify with as to why want is equal to money, which is equal to stress, equal to unhappiness. I will continue to evaluate and share with you some more of my perspective and insight on what I perceive to be the magical, mystical, spiritual, and metaphysical aspect of the word want. The magical of the word want, the dangers of want and wanting. The command and the commandment, I shall not want. I will continue to evaluate and share with you some more of my perspectives and insights on how to not want and how we may get rid of want from our minds, or at least minimize it from our minds and from our lives. We learn as we go along. I shall not want. For you, my people, shall not want. We shall not want, and nor should we, or nor should you or I, nor should we be found wanting. I also told you in some of my previous episodes that the thing called want, aka the seed called want, can and will only produce more of itself. Meaning it can and it will only produce more want. I told you that if you want, or if or when you are wanting, it literally means that you are not satisfied. And if or when you are not satisfied, it means that you are not happy. Or at the very least, it means that you are not experiencing, and nor can you experience full joy. The very sad thing about this life and this religious political pyramid twin system that we are living in, or may I say that we are existing in and governed by, is not from birth, if not from the moment of our conception. We are taught, trained, and encouraged by our parents, by the environment, by our environment, and by the system, aka the government, to what? To be successful. And definitely not to be joyful, or to be full of joy, or to be filled with joy. The evidence will show, and the evidence does show, and from infancy to maturity and to the date of our expiration, we were and we are being inculcated with the system success ideology and the system success philosophy. The system success ideology and philosophy. From infancy to the date of our expiration, we were and we are being taught, trained, and encouraged to be successful. To be successful at everything we do and at everything that we put our hands to. For example, we were taught, trained, and encouraged to be successful at being a child. As being children. To be successful children, to be successful a child. But we were definitely not taught, trained, and encouraged to be a joyful child or to be joyful children. No, we were not encouraged to do that. Some of us get bitch lick when they say we're too happy. We were taught, trained, and encouraged to be successful at being good students in school. We were taught, trained to be encouraged to be successful at being good citizens. We were taught, trained, and encouraged to be successful at our relationships with others, to be successful with our love lives, to be successful with our marriages, to be successful at having and rearing children, to be successful at our professions, and to be successful at our places of employment, etc., etc., etc. But we definitely were not taught, trained, and encouraged to be joyful students, joyful citizens, to have joyful relationships, joyful marriages, joyful love lives, joyful professions, let alone joyful places of employment, etc., etc. We were not taught joy or encouraged to be joyful. How many of us can honestly say that we or that they were taught, trained, and encouraged to be joyful? And regrettably, most people, quite regrettably, most people, regardless of how you may look at them, or regardless of how you may think or believe that they are bright, that they are smart, that they are educated, that they can talk, that they are learned, that they are righteous and holy, that they are powerful, you name it. They don't even know that success and happiness are not the same thing. In fact, most people, if asked, cannot tell the difference between the two, meaning they cannot tell the difference between success and happiness. Again, I humbly ask that you please, my people, meditate on the want equation for yourself. Want is equal to money. Meditate on it and see what you can find for yourself. Want is equal to money, which is equal to stress, which is equal to unhappiness. And see what you can or what you may learn for yourself. See how it talks to you. Now, just think about it just for one moment, my melanin people. And you too will, or you too may agree with I, the Mystic Philosopher, that the more you want is the more you want. And that you are not satisfied. And that you can never be satisfied the more you want. For example, you sow the seed of want for a job in a, let's say in a corporation or a company, and you get the job. Let's say you get the job as let's say a sanitary worker or a clerk or a receptionist. In other words, the lowest status, because you just want to get a foot in the company, the lowest status job in the hierarchy of the corporation or company. For a while, you may appear happy, or you might even be happy with your accomplishment, with your success getting the job. You might even celebrate with your friends and your family, but within a few days or sometimes quite unconsciously, you will or you might find yourself, because of your noble ambition and the way you were taught, wanting, the noble ambition of wanting, you're wanting to move up the corporate ladder. You may find yourself start setting goals to get to the top and doing whatever it takes to be the president or even the president or CEO of the corporation or the company. And the time that you should be spending truly living, truly smelling the roses, and truly full joying the very short amount of time that you may have left over from the allotted time that you are given here on this planet, but because you want. It is now spent going back to school. It is now spent studying, plotting, scheming, politicking, kissing people's asses, sucking up. Some of you might even end up dabbling in obia, black magic, and witchcraft. Because of want, you might end up compromising your human integrity, sleeping with your boss, or sleeping with a person in authority that you think can or you believe may be able to use to get to the next level in the company or the corporation. Because you want, you might even end up carrying news on your fellow employees or your fellow co-workers, getting them fired. If you're getting some of them fired, you may end up slandering, backbiting, backstabbing. In fact, because of the seed of want, because of the seed of want, or because of the seed called want and your determination to get what you want, you might even find yourself plotting the demise of anyone or anything that might be standing in your way or standing in the way of your want or in the way of want. And after you get rid of the person or thing that was or that is standing in the way of your want, the next thing that you will find yourself wanting is wanting to get rid of the evidence and the persons that help you get what you want or what you wanted. And still after all your wickedness and corruption and all, and as your conscience now start riding you and haunting you, then you will find yourself wanting forgiveness from both God and from both your fellow men or fellow mankind. And then if or when you get or accomplish your ultimate goal in the company or in the corporation, get what you want, your ultimate goal, or in the world for that matter, and you find yourself with all the worldly and material wealth, money, power, and fame, you name it, or you name them, the next thing that you will find yourself wanting is good mental, spiritual, and physical health. You may find yourself wanting to be young again, wanting to make up for the missing years of your life that you have spent chasing, getting what you wanted. You might find yourself wanting to find youth again. And above all, you will find yourself wanting to be happy. Now, from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, want is a wicked seed. Want is a wicked thing. Want never ends. It cannot end. And it have no end. Wow. Good place to end it. Again, thus far in today's episode, I honestly think that I have given you, or at the very least, I honestly think that I may have given some of you, if not all of you, a lot more to think about and possibly a lot more to look forward to in my next episode, especially as it relates to stress, the seed called want, and the want equation, etc. And so in interest of time, I think that I will just have to stop and pause here for today and ask that you please join me If and when next I'm talking again, possibly in episode 55, where and when I will be talking and sharing with you some more of my perspective and insights on this, the magical, mystical, and metaphysical aspect of the word want, and the commandment and the command, you shall not want, and hopefully address and answer the question, how do I get rid of want? Isn't that impossible? For I shall not want, you shall not want, we shall not want, and nor should you or we be found wanting. Gone over time. In the meantime and between time, please let me again remind you, my beloved people, that yesterday is history, it too is dead and gone, no more to come back. Tomorrow is a mystery, it too may never come, but today is a gift. Please enjoy it, which is why it's called the present day. And so I'm hereby imploring you, my lovely people, to live for today. By live, I mean claim your natural birthright. And just in case you don't know what that it is, or you may have forgotten what your natural birthright is, it is your happiness. And full joy today. And let's hope for tomorrow, for it too may never come for you nor for me or for I and I. And thanks again for your time. I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say. I went over 15 minutes. Pardon me for that.